Oh.
What's up, everybody? I am GKB, aka the Governor. Welcome to this special edition of the Console Corner. So IGN had this awesome video. It was the podcast on Lock Guys with Phil Spencer. Phil Spencer dropping bombs everywhere, talking about Scorpio, E3, possible new event, and we're gonna dive right into it. But first, I'm gonna go ahead and introduce a great panel of people. First, we're gonna start with our guest, Mr. Crap Gamer. How you doing, dude?
Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for inviting me on. It's been a while since I've been on your guys' show. I guess
You're on
the
ban now.
ban is lifted.
Yes.
And yeah, so I really appreciate it. And I'm really stoked to talk about this stuff because there's a lot of stuff that Phil covered and a lot of stuff that he said that he didn't say, but alludes to him saying. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I know what you're saying.
He was
there,
being
bro.
all slick.
Yeah.
Read between the lines.
I know what's up.
What's going on? What's going on, Fox? What you up to?
Nothing much. Been busy all day, but I had to stop by here and chat with you guys about this awesome shit. So
what I'm
let's
talking
get
about.
to it.
Cool. Mike, what about you?
Oh, hey, I'm stoked to be here and talking about all this. I'm so glad that crap you mentioned about, seeing things that weren't said but were left unsaid being more important, because I really picked up on that too. And
Yeah.
it was really the first chance I've had to talk to anyone about it. So special edition, let's get it going.
Sweet. All right, Newf, I'm glad you made it, bro. You got like last minute in there.
Yeah, no, I was just on the Xbox and stuff, kind of losing track of time as I normally do. But yeah, glad to be here. This is a special edition of the show. It's great. Really happy to have Crap along with us as well. Lots of stuff to chat about. Great stuff from Phil. And this is about as exciting as downing a double Big Mac. Oh, yeah.
Oh, just had a Big Mac, actually. It's really good.
Mine's waiting on the table.
So what's going on, SheWulf?
Not much. Here to talk some Phil Spencer interview, so let's get into it.
Yeah.
She looks,
Ready for
she
the
looks really
hardware.
interested.
Yeah, no, she's...
super stoked.
I've been
How
wondering
would
about
you
that
know?
ever since I
Are
heard
you,
this. And I was like, oh.
Is that your stoked voice?
I'm watching
That's my
the
stoked voice. I
stream.
could be talking like this, like Crap Gamer, and we can get all like, yeah, no,
Nice.
Oh, are you going to talk about mayo now?
maybe.
Oh,
There we
okay.
go. We got an exclusive.
Oh, yeah, that mayo.
mayo.
Dun, dun, dun.
Don't do it.
Anyways.
Yeah.
I'm going to freak out. Don't do it. Okay.
Nice. Real quick, I want to shout out the four guys with quarters. We're going to step on their toes a little bit tonight, and we apologize for that. We're going to leave a link to in the description to their show and all that kind of stuff. And after you're hanging out with us, please go over there and support them guys, too. We really appreciate it. Much love to them guys. We're sorry again, guys. We'll try and keep it as short as we can. All right, so let's go ahead and get right into this. Let's hit some of the smaller stuff before, let people get in here and stuff before we get into the big Scorpio and E3 stuff and all that kind of stuff. Let's talk about, so VR possibly might be a thing on the Scorpio.
Possibly.
He was pretty definitive. He was like, I'm going to go a little bit further.
Yeah, he's like it's not if but when. I
Exactly.
mean, basically that covers it. He goes, yeah, I was surprised that he was like, yeah, we're just gonna just go ahead and put it out there, man, 100%. It's when, not if. So I mean, they're definitely getting
But
that.
remember, though, he's taking more of an AR feel, not exactly
mixed
a
reality. I think-
VR.
He might
That's
do
what
it.
I was going to say. Like, not only are we getting the VR, but there's also going to be multiple options for us, and the augmented and mixed reality. Like, that really interests me. Like, I can't wait to see what gamers could do with that, and developers. That sounds like.
Yeah, he was super
just-
consistent with like what he was saying throughout the whole show. He was like the family of devices, like just with Xbox,
Weird.
and then all the AR and VR stuff. He was like, "Yo, we're gonna put it on everything."
Well, he even said, he wants whatever can go on the lower one has to be able to go on the top one, and whatever can go on, the top end, he wants to be able to be done on the lower end, so everyone gets the same experience, but with the quality of what they're paying for, and that's what we want to see. And it's even funnier because he makes the joke about how he doesn't always say things properly.
Yeah,
he did. He came out and said, I may not always say things properly, but he is trying to, fix that, and he's trying to get the wording out so people understand exactly what he's trying to do. And he's not trying to bring just a VR experience. He wants to bring that dual experience where you're not walking around with cords everywhere, where you are actually not limited to how you can experience this. And that's I think,
wireless.
yeah,
That was another big thing you said.
Yeah,
That was
I
really
really like
important
that
for
too.
head-mounted displays.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was
Go ahead, Fox.
I like how we're all trying to trying to get
we
our
all just
toes
want to
in
talk
there.
about it.
No, it's awesome. But yeah, I like how he talked about like being untethered. He pointed that out a lot. And yeah, the whole cable things like SheWulf said, I thought that was really good. The fact that he was very open about the fact that they're still learning about VR and AR and all that stuff, I thought that was pretty interesting. Even though I don't really care for VR, I like that he was being honest about it and saying how they want to test it out on the PC first before they bring it over to the console. I was like, hell yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, he was also saying too. He's like kind of what we've been saying on like the podcast for a good while now is like he's like VR is just not ready for the console market yet, and he wants it to develop on Windows and all that kind of stuff, and then bring it eventually. And I think that's really cool, and that's a smart idea. Also with the untethered, because I don't want to be hooked to anything, and I was saying that on Xbox Nation too. I was like, I don't like any of that kind of stuff. So,
and they have a console with the actual horsepower to perhaps run VR relatively well.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And the open source being able to, like I see that AR VR helmet is done with Acer, so it sounds like, you know, the onus of putting up all the financial responsibility and the stuff like that is not completely on Microsoft. You know, it's kind of like an open source thing, so that's pretty cool. And man, I don't know, is Phil just sitting through that whole interview looking like a guy is holding back an epic fart and just can't wait to let it go?
He did. You could see like he was like, I really want to talk about this stuff, but I just can't.
Yeah.
He kept like looking at the PR guys like across the table and stuff. He's like, I can't talk about it.
Yeah, that whole interview, he was definitely looking like he wants to inform you, but he can't give you too much information.
Yeah, what better way to hype E3 than just appearing on this and giving this podcast interview the way he did?
Well, have you guys noticed? I mean, yeah, Sony released Horizon Zero Dawn, right? But they've been very quiet as far as you don't hear them making any news whatsoever. Where Phil and Xbox this past week, 10 days, and that's what they do.
Yep.
Leading up into like March and April,
just little snippets here and there.
Yeah, little things. I mean, and then we're gonna get the Voodoo Vince release date next week supposedly, and something else. And there's other rumors rumors abound. And this was just a really good. Although I have to say, for just critiquing their interview a little bit, Ryan was the only one that really asked anything decent. The other two guys are
well, hold on. I don't want to take a shot at IGN or anything, but it did seem like Ryan didn't really let the other two talk. Like,
yeah, he kind of did cut off like.
You could see like the one sitting behind him. I'm sorry, I don't know your names or off by heart.
There's
but
Dustin, this goofy looking one, and then the goofy.
He would go to say something, and Ryan would kind of turn and then take it over.
He's like, sorry, bro, I got this.
Yeah, so it just kind of seemed like, but if maybe that's what they were supposed to do, then
I agree though. I think Ryan McCaffrey did go after him a little bit and tried to pressure him a little bit, and I like to see that.
But wouldn't you?
Cool. I absolutely would. I'd be like, Phil,
I would constantly try to get those slips. And hey, there was a few times it looked like he was going to slip about something, but he did catch himself.
Yeah. Well, he was like inevitable Forza 7, and then he's like, what? He's just announcing him. Like we all know Forza 7's coming.
Yeah, absolutely. Come on.
Ryan can smell the Yoshida shit coming off the Dustin and Gary over there.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It was like maybe Phil had a stipulation before he came on. And he was like, hey, that Dustin guy who held up that 900p box? Yeah, no.
Yeah. Well, no. What's funny is I think that Marty Sleva guy, he's the one that was like adjusting his collar when Phil was talking about the power.
He would like adjust his jacket and all that kind of stuff.
And then he dropped his pen. Like, that guy is like a.
And Phil just stared at him, bro. He was
that guy's like
really?
A blog person for PlayStation Magazine or something. He's like a PlayStation dude. Like I never understood what he was doing on the Xbox podcast, but
that's interesting.
Yeah. That was so funny, and somebody like chopped that up and put it on Twitter today, and I was laughing at it all day.
I see like 3 different versions.
He's pulling out his collar, and he's like, "Oh," you know what I mean?
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I was laughing my ass off at that. I thought it was hilarious.
We talked about VR a little bit. Let's go ahead and get into Shadow of War, and then we're gonna hit like the big stuff. What did you guys think about that? How he was talking about like monolith
native 4K announcement on Xbox One or Xbox Scorpio. Native 4K, folks, 100%.
I don't disagree. I think it's going to be 4K as well. I was just saying.
No, I'm saying the announcement trailer is native 4K.
Oh, yeah.
The announcement trailer, native 4K.
So funny.
Yeah,
on the Xbox.
He tries, people. He tries, but.
Yes.
Hey, I love how nonchalant Phil was about that. He's like, "Oh yeah, we got a third party on board announcing a Scorpio game. Yeah, that's just the beginning.
Yeah, that's true.
They're right down the road.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he also went after like the confusion too of like, well, people were thinking like there's a Scorpio only version kind of thing. And he was like, no, that's not a thing. Like we're on a family of devices.
Yeah.
It's going to be.
I
on
like
everything.
that he addressed that.
Yeah,
definitely.
I like that too. I don't understand like this gen either. Like every time like Microsoft or Xbox or Phil says anything, it's always scrutinized to the umpteenth degree and made out to say like things that wasn't even intended to be. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
Well, you can tell he's very careful about his words. Even like sometimes we, you nod his head back, and you can almost see he's calculating like, how do I say this? Because guaranteed there's going to be some fanboy that's going to rip up every word that I say and twist it around. I mean, he definitely alluded to a few things in that interview as well, saying like how people
about the Forza Gears and Halo thing.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
That was fantastic when he said that. Absolutely.
Definitely.
So he's right. He's absolutely right, because we've had this conversation online and we've seen it online over the last couple of months. And yeah, he's not stupid. Man's paying attention to the shit that's going around.
Absolutely. But yeah, I like that he stepped on and talked about, Shadow of War, and, they have a great relationship with that team and all that kind of stuff, and that the game actually is going to take advantage of the power. Maybe that's why that's one of the first games, because I think it was maybe designed and built with Scorpio in mind, to really push some of the power. Like I know Forza is going to be probably the number one game that's going to push it the most, like they always do every time it comes out.
Showcase.
Yeah. So.
But what's nice about Shadow of War is that for the very beginning of this generation, Shadow of Mordor was really like the standout sleeper hit. So there's a lot of love for that game in this current generation for people that have already adopted it right now, that adopted it early on. So that could swing a lot of people that didn't buy an Xbox One at launch and have held onto their PS4 if they see the better versions coming to the new Xbox hardware. Hey, maybe it's time to pick up an Xbox if you haven't already.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I totally could see that. Absolutely. All right, so we touched on that. Let's go ahead and get into Game Pass, then we'll get into E3 conference, and then we'll hit the big one, Scorpio, because I know that's going to take a good chunk of the time because he talked a lot about it. So let's go ahead and get into the Game Pass thing. Did you guys find it interesting that he was like, it was in development for like 2 to 3 years? They've just been like sitting on it, and then all of a sudden it's like, bam, here it is.
Well, I'm not really surprised about that, because you would expect something like this to have at least had some time to actually create itself. Like, you can't just come up with an idea like this and just throw it in there.
No, he said
and
you
not
have to do the
expect-
infrastructure and
Exactly.
Yeah, the way he explained it, yeah.
Especially, how they even said it's supposed to be like a Netflix kind of style of thing. But I do like the fact that he did come out and address that the games that are going to be switched out could possibly be a monthly thing, but not a lot of them.
Right.
It is not going
It's going to be on the publisher, not necessarily Microsoft.
Yes. So I
like
like that fact, because people were so worried about that it was going to be like games switched out like all the time. No, he came out and said, hopefully not many at all. He said, but
because he didn't want it to be that like trial, like demo kind of thing. He wanted you to
Yes.
have a good time and get your money's worth. Absolutely.
Yeah, he made it
And you
seem
don't
like
see
he
that-
was. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, you don't see that on Netflix. The entire library doesn't get swapped out every month. Like
Right,
you lose a few, but then you gain a few. So, if they're trying to follow that model, then that makes complete sense.
Exactly.
True, but they also tell you ahead of time what stuff is leaving and coming in. Hopefully that Microsoft can do something like that. Oh man, I forgot what was the other thing I was gonna say.
Sorry.
It's okay.
No, it's all good. It's all good. It was about third party. I remember. I think that he played it safe when it came to the whole switching out thing. He was doing that for the third party developers that want to like take games out or put games in. I feel like when it comes to the Microsoft games, those are going to be pretty safe if you play those.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, you go back to
They
the
control
Netflix analogy. The Netflix content that's made for Netflix by Netflix, that doesn't ever go away. That's always on Netflix. So
Exactly.
maybe some Microsoft first party games, once they're a certain age, they get thrown into this Xbox.
He did address the fact that he wants this to actually be where developers will create games for this, and that's actually where they will release.
Stuff.
Yes, like that's
like his future vision for it is like fantastic. Like,
because
really
he wants these games to actually release in this subscription, so you pretty much have to buy it to play it, or I would assume you probably be able to
he was
buy
saying
it,
like
of course too, but
like Xbox games would probably be in there a good thing, but like how would Netflix, what they're doing with the content that they create for their own streaming service, like he sees that as part of like Game Pass as well. And he also even said, hey, he would like to see this other versions on like Windows as well, so he's very open to giving that a go as well.
And hey, we can't even take out the fact of EA, because he said they are in talk, but at the time there is no actual thing going on with EA and this new subscription, because obviously EA is going to want to keep their stuff separate. But he said that they do talk, so what could come in the future of something like that, there is still the possibility.
What about you, Crap?
Well, I think that like what he said was pretty cool, because he's like that Netflix offers content that wouldn't make traditional film or show So he's like you were saying, he hopes that people release stuff in episodic format, for specifically for Game Pass. Maybe developers will go to them and say, hey, would you take a chance on this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It could result in exclusives. I mean,
they were even talking about like the player base too, because I guess they could see how many subscribers they would have, and they could probably use that as like a tool or a bargaining chip for other developers too, and be like, look, you got a potential, gamer base of this many, just in this program alone. So
yeah, to bring games back to life, basically.
Yeah.
I love the idea of, developers going to Microsoft and saying, hey, would you take a chance on this? And Microsoft going, yeah. What would be good for this? Maybe you guys remember this game D4 that came out, weird Japanese game. Only the first, I think it was like the first two, the prologue and the first two, and then it's not complete, obviously. Something like that would make really good sense on there.
Yeah, and we are getting used to episodic content in games. Like Hitman was episodic when it first came out. The Telltale games are always episodic. There's a lot of stuff that's been coming out recently that's episodic, so we've seen that model already flourish.
Yeah.
And people do enjoy it, and, that kind of pushes them to want it more. Because they want to, you'll finish the first part and then it'll be like, hey, I want to see the next one. When's the next one coming? And then, it does push for these games to be wanted more. And then they also get to open to more variety because someone talked about it and they're like, oh, hey, oh my God, did you get to see this? But we can't play. Like, it does build that suspense that people love.
Big shout out to the 111 people watching us right now. You guys are fantastic. I hope you're enjoying the show. We got a bunch to talk about, so stay tuned.
In the games, they continue to build hype for themselves as you're waiting for the next episode to come out. So it's not like you have that 1 week of hype and then, the next big thing's coming along. The game's going to resurface as time goes on.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, chat's got my attention right now. Trying to show some love to the chat.
You nerd.
Cool.
Yeah, shout out to the chat. It's alive.
Yeah, it is awesome. Them guys are pumping off in there. It's really cool. Thanks
pumping
again, guys.
off.
Yeah, you talking mayo and all this kind of stuff. You got me thinking weird things now.
Whoa.
So, I don't know.
Anyways.
Oh yeah.
But I do really.
Oh yeah.
I do really love what Phil was saying about the Game Pass and where it's going and where it could actually take Xbox in the future with casual gamers and the variety of people that this could target and actually make it more successful and see new games that actually take advantage of risks and all that kind of stuff to create new games. Because he was also talking about the fact of opening up, allowing anyone to create a game. And how, they're hoping this could possibly be
their platform of openness.
Could also be implicated into this as well. So, we could see a lot with this in the future.
Yeah.
And it makes it more exciting.
Frodo's dropping codes in the chat. People, get your games.
Yeah.
Make sure if you get it, you let us know who gets it. Please be respectful.
Be polite. Say thank you.
Good,
Yes.
Fox.
I also like the fact that he talked about PlayStation Now. He said he tried it, so he knows the difference and I guess what not to do or how to do it differently. So I like that he pointed that out as well.
Well, he did say he is not going to bring streaming. Everyone keeps
He was pretty
worrying.
definite on that, actually.
And everyone keeps worrying about that. They're like, oh my God, are we going to get streaming? Like,
Yeah. He's like,
everyone
it's
but
even
he
cheaper
said-
to let you download it instead of stream it. So that it's cheaper for the
bandwidth
provider
and all
and
that.
for you.
Well, they can already see this. Like, literally, this is Xbox Live membership, and the free games that you get, it is literally that.
Yeah, he was saying like PC gamers, Xbox gamers, all that stuff. He's like, it just makes sense that you would download it natively instead of, streaming it.
Yeah. Well, he even said, you want to be able to take it with you if you're going somewhere. You don't want to have to try to stream it. And
Is it just me, or does this feel like the evolution of the original family sharing that came out in Xbox 2013 E3 when they had the always online and all that stuff that they got shit on for because everybody said it was DRM when I thought it was awesome, but this could be the next step of what that was originally meant to be.
But Mike, who wants to share games with up to 10 people? Who wants to do that? Come on.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
no,
I
right?
don't
know. No, I'm
Who wants to
selfish. They're all
save
mine.
Money.
All
Yeah.
mine.
Nobody does the game sharing that's available right now on Xbox or even the streaming game sharing on PS4. Those are horrible, right?
I do have to say, if they do bring back the whole 10 people, Ryan, I hope you keep me in mind, buddy. Love that library.
Listen to that. All right, let's go ahead. Let's go. Go ahead. Sorry, bro. Let's go ahead and move on to.
Go ahead.
He keeps cutting out.
I think crap. At some point in time, we need to pick up like a dozen Mayo codes. That Mayo
Yeah, right. The PS4 Mayo game.
every time
Yeah.
crap happens, I
I
always
love that game.
Let's go.
tap my jaw.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to the E3 press conference. And he was talking about how he was asked about like why he moved it and all that kind of stuff, and he pretty much was like, "I like opening up E3. I want to be the first one to go."
Why not?
Yeah.
Like, and he also said the fact that, this gives people time to actually take the show that they had and think about it. Where on Monday, it was them and then Ubisoft and then another. And then, Sony got to end the show. So people were left with Sony and actually looking at what they did, where Microsoft had all these other shows. And he even said, it is also easier for press because they don't have to run from show to show to show. But my biggest thing, and that I completely agree with him on, is the fact that people can think about it. They literally have all Sunday to think about what happened at Microsoft show.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like
definitely.
Portal, man, you just do not want to go last. Trust me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good.
I was just gonna say I like the idea of them going first. They kick off things with a bang. They have the most potential to have the best show because they have hardware. I don't think they're going to spend a lot of time on hardware.
Well, no,
but
he
I do
said
think-
that, though. He said he
Yeah.
doesn't want to spend a lot of time on hardware. He actually wants to focus more on games,
about
which
games.
then makes you wonder, because
yeah.
they tried to get this out of him, but obviously didn't.
He said it without saying it though. Come on.
He did. Like, he pretty much slipped. Like, come on.
He's like, I got too much shit to talk about, and we're probably gonna have an earlier event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But without
Yeah,
officially saying it. So,
Yeah,
we-
but I
we
told
could
I
see
told
it.
everybody that months and months ago. I said they're going to do something in May,
Yeah. you-
and and everybody's like, but they announced it with the Scorpio thing. They definitely going to show it off. I'm like, they'll have it there, but how do you cover what this thing can do in, even if it takes 30 minutes, that's way too long for an E3 show.
Especially if only 90-minute long. I mean, that's a 30.
Yeah.
show.
Well, especially when they still have to show the games. There's still the whole ID Xbox reel. That alone takes 10 to 15 minutes. And then they
No
have
Minecraft.
to...
yeah, no Minecraft. We don't need Minecraft.
They always show Minecraft, though. But
I think they're going to be top heavy on the hardware, but I don't think they're going to show off all the games on the reveal. You know what I mean? Like, I think they'll keep a surprise games for E3 itself.
They'll probably
Say,
have a
"Hey,
couple of ones that's really going to push the hardware and show it off the best, and then save the rest for E3 or something like that, maybe,
Well,
or just demos. I
maybe
don't know.
that's why they showed Shadow of War already, because maybe
'Cause they
they're
wanna
gonna
show that off?
maybe they want to use that as one of the demo games.
Ooh, what if March 8th is the reveal?
Just saying. They seem to coincide with each other. Like, come on.
Hey, I like that. That's pretty cool.
I'm down
Just
with
saying,
that.
because he did
I
kind
wouldn't
of
mind.
hit on that game last night. He did say.
Yeah,
So
I agree. I also think though, like part of the reason like he went to Sunday as well is to get everything out before the rest of the people are going to do their keynotes and all that kind of stuff too.
I think
that's part of it.
Bethesda is going to have Xbox Scorpio games, and they don't want Bethesda showing them before they do.
Exactly.
there's that. But they did also say too, though, that there is the downside to it as well, because people can't, like Sony or
Yeah, but let's be
not
honest,
really
like,
Ubisoft, but
Sony's not going to pull a PS5 out of their ass.
well,
on the show.
no,
Like,
but he did. He still makes a legit point that sometimes going first, the screw ups that
oh yeah, he
do
did touch
come,
on that. Absolutely.
Everyone else can fix. So he did.
Yeah, they
that's
could
what I
counter
mean.
it.
Exactly. He
Yeah.
did come out and say there is
No, you're
always
right.
that chance that there's ups and downs to going first, but he loves to open.
Here's the
EA
thing, though.
first,
What
or
they did
E3
last
first.
year really threw Sony off their game. They didn't have enough time in that day to prepare. So you notice they ended their show like 15 minutes early because that was probably going to be the PS4 Pro reveal. But how the hell do you show off a PS4 Pro when you just got dunked on by a 6 teraflop, Scorpio?
Well, they were also
Beast.
supposed to show, there was rumors, anyways, that they were actually supposed to show Red Redemption as
Red Dead,
well
yeah. I don't know. We'll see.
on what you call it, Sony E3 last year.
I think a lot of the
but
marketing
they
is like up in
didn't.
the air for games right now.
No, I understand, but I'm just saying there was rumor that that's where it was actually supposed to be originally announced, was on their stage, but they cut it short.
What
Right.
he didn't really talk much on this, but I want to ask everybody about it too. Like, what do you guys think of their positioning at E3, potentially a smaller booth and all that kind of stuff? But I come at the standpoint of they're probably around their partners, and it's kind of a strategic thing that a lot of those games are going to be close to Microsoft and showing them off. What do you guys think about that?
Well,
That makes
go
complete
to a
sense.
movie theater, man. Like, you can go to a movie theater. Does watching the Transformers on a giant screen really make the movie any different than watching it on a smaller screen? You know what I mean? It's if you got the goods, it don't matter how big the booth is. You're going to kick some ass, and that's exactly what Microsoft is going to do at this E3. I promise you, they're not coming in there all quiet and limber like most people are trying to make them out to be. Actually, most of that's just the Sony fanboys who are just like, hey, Microsoft's got nothing to show, but oh no, they're just keeping their cards close to their chest, man. It's going to rock.
But it's,
Well,
not
it's very
even,
strategic.
it's not even just that, though. Like, really think about it. Like, if they have the third-party support, this is actually beneficial for them. If they put
'Cause they're random.
themselves in the center, then their booths are also showing off their booths. So it's also helping the developers from those third-party games as well.
I'm sure they're going to have
Like,
some Scorpios over there as well.
well, that too.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, marketing yourself in the center of, like, multi-plats is a smart move because it's helping everybody, which then gives these developers more satisfaction to being.
Or people are walking through the floor and being like, well, that's an awesome game, but yeah, here it is running on the Scorpio that looks even better.
Yeah, like there's a lot of benefits to not actually being in just one side by yourself. But at the same time, it is possible that they have a smaller set because they don't need the bigger room. Where say Sony could be showing off VR, so they could need that actual more room and
What were you
base
gonna
stuff
say,
like
Crap?
that.
I was going to say that apparently their space that they have this year is the same size as the one they had last year. It just looks smaller on the way that. And then they, because they went to a different side or whatever, they went to the side that they did originally like years ago or whatever, you know what I mean? But they're going to be close to Bethesda and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that it's very strategic in what they're doing. A lot of people don't give Microsoft enough credit, and even Phil tries to play dumb, right? He's like, I'm not, like when he wears the shirts and stuff, that doesn't mean anything. You know what I mean? Come on, like this is the guy
Hey,
that was
he was wearing a
intelligent.
pretty badass shirt last night.
Yeah,
Freaking
Atriox.
Metallica.
I know it's the Atriox shirt.
shirt.
I love
Yeah,
that.
but
Yeah,
it's a Metallica style Atriox.
I
shirt.
know.
Yeah, it was
Who do
awesome.
you think? My brother's Hellhammer.
I know. I bet you guys own a couple of those shirts.
I like Metallica.
They ordered them last night.
That's badass.
sure.
I love that. But yeah, so I think that it's very strategic. And again, anybody that underestimates Phil, just look at what happened to me, right? Oh, I complain about Quantum Break being announced on
Oh,
PC
shut down!
4 weeks before it releases, right? And my whole thing was nobody ever understood the reason why I complained was because I felt like PC gamers who are only PC gamers could have bought Xbox Ones because they were touting this as just on Xbox One for 3 years. And then to announce
Yeah.
it 4 weeks prior,
They changed it
I
last
had,
minute.
Yeah, I had known somebody
well,
that had.
not okay. I don't really want
Hold
to jump
on,
into this
let me explain
conversation,
that. Let him
but
Yes. Then 4 weeks prior they announced that, and I'm like, oh man, that sucked. So then he's like turned it around, like, oh, I canceled it just specifically because I don't want other people to play. I don't
But
give
hold
a
on,
crap.
can I just say something, Crap? If we're really gonna go into this conversation,
God.
it's how you word things. You do have, when you tweet something, you have a tendency. I think you should maybe use me as your PR and read.
I
what
do.
you tweet before you tweet.
Crap,
Because
PR.
no, I'm just saying this kind of goes on the same lines as the whole Twitter kabobble thing about the cancer
we're all guilty
game
of
and
that.
stuff like that. People we knew what you were talking about, but the way you word things sometimes it doesn't come across that way. So
Yeah,
it
that's- I mean,
just
it-
like
to-
when
to
I
my-
first read it personally, when I first read that whole tweet about Quantum Break and stuff, I actually thought you were talking about that you were mad because they canceled it. I really did when I first read it. But then I went back and of course, obviously, I knew you, and I'm like, wait, that's not what he meant. But when I first read it, it did come across that.
Yeah, I get that. It's hard, it's hard to really judge anybody based on 143 characters,
Exactly.
So, but I agree. But Phil's an intelligent guy. That was my point. Was like he can spin it on anybody, and I think that everything's very calculated.
Yeah,
and
I
so, when he talks about something, like he knew that today we'd all be talking about. Yeah, we pretty much know there's going to be a Scorpio event. Yeah, like you know what I'm saying? Like to me, there was so many, and I don't want to jump into the other stuff, but there's so much things that he covered and didn't cover by not covering it.
Mhm.
Like, boom, it's like your head's gonna explode. It's crazy.
Well, let's move
Yeah.
on to. Go ahead, Fox. I'll go ahead, and then I'll.
No, I was just gonna say I agree. I think that he knows how the community is gonna react to the things that he said or did not say, and obviously Twitter's gonna blow up right after.
Because everybody's talking about it
He's a
again.
master of saying everything without saying very little, isn't he?
Yeah.
Exactly. All right, let's go ahead and move into the big thing. That's Scorpio. he pretty much laid out the roadmap. It was like E3 announced October. We got the SoC system on chip. They ported the platform, the Xbox One platform, on it in November. Gave it to the first party. He said, use the words erector set. They started porting.
I love
engines.
that erector set analogy.
Yeah. They started porting engines over, trying out games, running games on it, and all that kind of stuff. What do you guys think about all that kind of good info?
I love how he explained. Well, actually, he had to because Ryan kind of kept picking on him a bit about how he was saying premium console. So he had to like reiterate how he was explaining it, that this console is not based for taking over the Xbox One, or mainly the Xbox S, because that's the one he mainly focused on, was the Xbox S, and how that this is going to be focused for the hardcore gamers. It's the ones who know.
The ones that want to be on the bleeding edge of graphics.
Yes, like who understand what the graphics are, and that's what this is targeted towards. Now, does that worry me a little bit for price-wise? It does, because that means where does the price range leave? Because he did kind of jump around on, well, what could be the price? Well, we're going to put it at what we think it should be priced at.
Fair, yeah.
Not only that, he mentioned the Elite control, and we all know the difference between a regular control and an Elite
Elite
control.
controller. There's like almost $100. Like there's like $100.
People would say $449. I really am $449. I think that's where they're going to come in. It all depends on if they drop the PS4 Pro. If that goes down, they may have to undercut.
That's definitely going down.
Even more.
Again, let me just point this out. Phil's a smart guy. There's a couple things he could be doing. He could be playing chess here. One thing. He probably knows that the Pro is going to be dropped to $350 by the time Scorpio comes out. Regardless of going after the core with this, obviously, look, the Pro is out, but that's not going to overtake the Slim because the Slim is cheaper. Just like the Xbox One S will probably be $250 all the time, or $199 around the holidays. So of course it's going to be more expensive than that, and of course it's not going to sell as well as that because that's the cheaper one, and the casual stuff are going to jump to that one. But the core are going to buy the Scorpio. And for that, and for you to be able to distinguish that from the narrative that's switching, that checkerboard looks just about as good as native 4K, you're going to have a competitive price point.
Yeah.
It's just going to have to happen. You're just going to have a competitive price point. So,
I also like the other part he was talking about too, Crap. Like he even made a point to be like, when you see games on this, like it's going to destroy every other console.
Demonstrative.
He was just like, yeah,
It made me drop my pen too.
It made Marty Silva starts pulling on the collar.
I dropped everything.
Yeah. He's like, demonstrative difference, and Marty Silva goes,
oh God.
Pen drop in the episode.
Yeah.
My pen will drop next.
Yeah.
Like the Xbox community jumped on that shit fast.
Yeah, they did.
Like, yeah, man.
I also liked how he was talking about like the Xbox One S and the Scorpio, and they tried to like push him on what it looked like. And he was saying like, he definitely wants it a similar looking thing, but still have that different look to appeal to more of the hardcores or whatever.
Did you get the feeling too that it's going to be called Xbox One something?
I hope not.
No, I didn't get that feel. But I did love the fact of how he was like,
I could see
I
that
love
though, with the
how
family
it
of devices.
looks, but he wants people to know that it's not the S and that it is its own thing. So
but still have a similar look.
Yeah, so oh my God, I want to see it more now. Like I just really want
he
to
was said it too. He's like, I want to
looks.
show you what it looks like.
Yeah,
but,
but he can't. And it's like, you can sneak me a picture in our Xbox DM. I would be fine with that. You really can.
Slide up in the DMs with the pic of the Scorpio, Phil.
I'd love to see. I don't share anyone, I promise.
Price, though, it's got to be, the marketing has got to be on point, because we saw how detrimental and disastrous that turned out to be for Nintendo and the Wii U, because people just didn't recognize, or at least the average gamer or person buying it didn't recognize that was an actual new console, because it was too tied closely together with the name. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Microsoft has to be very careful. I mean, if they did stick with an Xbox One name, I could totally understand it, like an Xbox. Well, you can't call it the Elite now. So like Xbox One Premium, Xbox One 4K. That way it doesn't alienate a different brand.
I don't know about Elite either. I don't know if they're going to use that
I
either.
would have liked that, though. Obviously, they can't, because like Newf said, they can't. There is already an Elite one out there. It's the hybrid. But I really wish
would match the
they
controller,
would
like,
have. But I wish they would have actually kept that name for this one, because it would have suited the rest of the line. But they won't. They won't just call it the Xbox, even though we would love it.
I hope it's not like the Xbox One S-R for like a 1S revision. Like, just don't do that.
Don't do that. That would be terrible.
Yeah, don't get it too convoluted.
Xbox
Like,
If you
One
want to do that,
SS.
just keep it to Scorpio.
See, I just said like because it's going to be the most powerful console to date, right? Like the OG Xbox was also that when it came out. So like
When
just
it
calling
first-
it
yeah.
Xbox, going back old school, I thought just fit for me personally. But I can understand that they're probably going to do like Xbox One something.
It would be nice if they would just do like Xbox. Would love that. But
Xbox,
obviously,
the one. Do it.
Yeah, it's so that they can really just use Xbox and just have like the other words hidden in the back, kind of thing. I'm
like
impressed,
Xbox
Ryan.
Highlander, and then in parentheses, there can be only one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I am kind of curious though why Ryan didn't touch on the name.
He's not going to say it anyway.
No, but
Phil's going to be like, yeah, we're okay, guy.
but he still could have maybe pushed a little.
He was
bit.
more concerned about the games. He was like,
Yeah.
what are the new games? What are we getting?
what do you got into there?
Yeah.
So he also touched on, and I think it is an important thing too, because a lot of gamers out there are kind of on a budget. And if you do save up the money to get a Scorpio and you only have a 1080p TV, he said, don't worry about it. Devs are probably going to take care of you, and you'll probably have like a 1080p option. I took it as that. So what did you guys think?
Yeah, I definitely agree, and it's great that they're trying to focus on not only giving the best results to the best console, but they are still trying to focus on still keeping the S alive, because like he said, the S is still their main focus. That game, like that system, is still meant to be the main seller, and they said that several times, and I'm happy about that. And I like the fact that, this console is going to be able to do the power, but he said he's leaving everything open to the devs. He's not telling them what they have to do. He's just saying, this is what we have, this is what we're going to bring. Now it's up to you. What are you guys going to do with it? And I like that. I like the fact that he's given the devs the option of what they want to do.
Big shout out to
Well, and I
the
think
170 people watching us right now. We love you guys. Thank you so much. Go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
Woo. With the hardware in mind, the whole system and family of Xbox Ones that we're going to have right now is built around scalability. So if the hardware can detect what kind of TV output you have, it can, maybe avoid what we've seen on some of the early PS4 programs where they're, at 4K, but then they're downsampling the 1080p, which is causing a little bit of a slowdown in the performance. So this could be something where it knows it's just going to do a native 1080p output, but still use those higher res textures and everything. So you're still going to get a visual upgrade no matter what kind of TV you have when it comes to that kind of power.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. You good, Crap? Doug, you okay?
Yeah, I'm good. No, I agree. I agree with you guys are saying. Sorry, like my dog.
No worries, bro.
Stuff like that. But what part were you guys on? Because I just got
they pretty much were taking care of the devs. Phil was like, "Don't worry about it if you have a 1080p TV."
Yeah, it sounded to me at that point that he was talking that maybe there was going to be a couple of options in games, like a 1080p, super high settings, and then like maybe a 4K setting or whatever. You know what I mean? So I think that there's going to be, because he said he didn't want it to be too confusing,
like computers and like PCs.
Yeah, definitely. So I think, yeah.
Guys, check this name out. What do you think of this? This has a ring to it. Xbox Horizon.
Oh my god! What the?
No, wow.
Let's not go there.
I wonder what that's going to come bundled with.
Can it come complete with bad voice acting? Because that's what I would hope for.
Anyways, this is not
Cortana.
Oh,
Hey,
I was
am
thinking Forza
Cortana.
Horizon, but yeah, you took it there. Okay.
Oh, gotcha.
Nice.
I hear you. How about Xbox One Infinite or Infinity, something like that?
I like
Okay,
Xbox Avenger because it's going to avenge the name of Xbox.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
All right, one more thing I wanted to touch on the Scorpio, and then we're going to go into like the first party stuff. And that is they focused heavily on the dev tools to make it super easy for people to develop on the Xbox platform and Scorpio going forward. I thought that was very cool because he said like one of his critiques that he was getting from the original Xbox was, they put it out pretty quickly and the tools just weren't up to snuff for developers, and they kind of just hammered their way through developing games for it. So
yeah, hence the 720p and stuff.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and even the UI when it launched, I mean, you could tell that it was almost not quite there, but then the updates kept rolling out and kept making it better and better and better. So it's, what was it? They kind of made a joke. The Xbox One S was the Xbox we should have had, and that was
Yeah.
That was
it
kind of
like,
a
thanks.
dig. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, man, you got Phil Spencer there. You're gonna take a shot at the man? Come on.
yeah, that was a little.
He even caught it too, man. He was like, "Oh, thanks."
Well, yeah, but let's be honest though, guys. It should have been like the whole internal battery
I don't
pack,
disagree.
everything.
I've
like,
said that on the
the
shows
Scorpio better be that way. They better stick to at least that format because that brick was just shit.
Yeah, I don't think they
hated
can go
that
back
brick.
now after the S. Like, I think
Yeah.
the S is.
Just
So-
like they can't go back to a regular DVD or Blu-ray. You have to have the 4K in there
Yep,
now.
you
Yeah.
gotta have it.
But
Yep.
you know, it is great that like devs are getting this. Now, are we gonna see some people who just want to screw around and make crappy games? Chances are, yes. But it could
That's gonna
still
happen.
also be very interesting, and it could, like I said, it allows people to take risks. We could see a lot of creative people because there's tons of creative people out there, but they don't have the money to do these kind of things. So now,
But I think
opening
that's
this
like
up-
where he was talking about like the creative thing and all that kind of stuff, like really opening up and making it affordable for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And you know that would be like a nice pool for them to pull from. Like people make creative things or really cool stuff. They could be like, "Oh, here's some money from Microsoft. Why don't you come work for us?" kind of thing.
Yeah, well, he said he was trying to get first-party people, so like.
Well, that's what I want to go into right now. He talked a lot about first party. You know, he was pretty candid about, you know, the beginning when he took over. He was like, you know, I pretty much had to cut the fat, but that's going to be better for everyone in the long run because it's now he's got it to a point where. I think he's got it to a point where it's like efficient for him now, and now he can start investing into those first parties. And like we've said on multiple podcasts that I would like to see more first party, you know, development studios come from Microsoft. And
Well,
it
he
looks
said
like- Go
he
ahead.
said they're actively investing. So to me, he gave away that they have first-party studios that we don't know about,
I agree.
which is very interesting. Again, Microsoft Game Studios is a large umbrella. I think that he doesn't want to announce something until they have something to show.
Exactly.
And I think that that's smart. If you look at the way Phil Spencer's handling things now, he said it's a balancing act. You don't want to show stuff 3 years out because then what happens is you get the scale bound thing, or because he said it, games get canceled all the time.
Yeah. He
You
also
know?
said he took that as a lesson too, like because he even admitted that I announced stuff a little bit too early, and he took credit for that, and he's like, that's not what I'm going to do anymore. So
Yeah, he definitely admitted that he's learning, and he's gonna work on that to show when he's gonna come out with games or when he's gonna announce it. I like the fact that he's making it sound like he's rebuilding everything first party, and like he's cleaning house basically of what was.
Yeah.
And wasn't working out, so I like what he's doing moving forward. I don't know like what I'm kind of like excited but worried about what we're gonna see in E3, whether it be something new that we don't know about or just the same stuff that we already know.
I agree with you, Fox. Like I'm more excited than I am worried because after him saying that, I'm like, wow, he probably does have some really cool stuff. Maybe he can't show it right now, but down the line, we probably are going to be like really happy about what comes out.
I like the fact that he addressed Scalebound and how he
Right.
pretty much came out and said, "We're sorry we did this, guys," but not officially really came out and said that they were sorry. They did.
Yeah.
Like he
Yeah.
he
It's
pretty
interesting
much
though. You backed them up and said like they're still good guys, blah blah blah. So like,
Yeah.
was that smoke screen or is ultimately
I think that's
inside?
PR talk. I mean,
That's
honestly.
PR nonsense. They'll never work with Platinum Games again.
Well, no,
That's just
but at the same time, they still addressed it to the
Yeah, they talked
viewers,
about
the
it, yeah.
gamers, and whether it was PR or not, the fact that they were willing to bring it up and say, "Hey, okay, so we did address this too early, and we are pretty much sorry for that, and it was our fault, and we shouldn't have done it. You know, people just don't work sometimes, and we do see that." And that was our mistake, and we won't let it happen again. And I do like the fact that he even claimed that, we saw this mistake before, and we should have known this time as well. Like, that's one thing I like about Phil Spencer is the fact that he does actually admit his mistakes after after it's happened. He does come
Yeah.
out and say, "Hey, I did screw up," and hey, so and I don't care if it was PR that wrote it or what. I'm sure he still meant it, regardless of who wrote it. And that's
Yeah, he
what
said lesson learned. You know.
Hey, to your point too, SheWulf, is even when he took over at Xbox, he's like, yeah, he goes, I was in the meetings when they were talking about all this stuff going into Xbox One, and I could have spoke up, and I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, like when people were going, well, that wasn't Phil's fault. He was like, well, I was there. I could have said something. I mean, obviously, you're not gonna say something because that's the way the world works in business. But
Yeah. So your superiors.
yeah, you're not gonna say, hey, Mr. Matrick, Palmer, whoever.
You're
yeah,
sucking right now, bro.
Yeah, we can't do this. It's anti-consumer. They're gonna be like, throw them out the fucking window.
Yeah.
That's like that. That's not how it works.
Exactly.
But the good thing is, he's at the 3-year anniversary. Dev times of games are usually new games are 3 to 4 years. The fact that he's like almost hinted at maybe there's a new AAA IP to show off Scorpio. I don't know. Like to me,
Well, they
it sounded
asked
like
him.
that. Yeah, and
Yeah,
he
it
was
sounded
like,
that to me too.
He's
Yeah,
like,
and
I
he's-
can't officially say, and I'm not gonna say, but
and they were like, well, you kind of done that before.
And he's
He's like, yeah,
I'm
I
not
have.
gonna say there's anything, but there could. Like, it's
Yeah.
funny how he
I think
works
he's got
around
something up his
things.
sleeve for sure.
Yeah,
has-
that's the part that has me excited, but at the same time, like, I don't know what it could be. So,
listen though, like here's the
It's too early. He's like kind of alluded to the quantum break thing too. He's just like,
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, we'd like to work with them, but screw them because they take 5 years to make a game and then nobody buys it. So, I mean, like, yeah, it's a business, but still, like, I will say this. Phil was on point with a couple of things, right? And you can see the uncomfortableness of people like Marty Silva and Destin Legary because he goes, when they always complain that we do Forza, Gears, and Halo. This year we don't have those, and people are like, you're doomed. So which one is it? You know what I mean? And I agree 100%. I've been saying that. People are like, we got to get more than just those 3. We got to get more than just those 3. I'm like, we don't have those this year. I mean, we'll probably get a Forza, but we don't have those this year.
Yeah.
And everybody's like,
He spoke to that point too, man.
freaking out. Yeah.
Like what Newf was saying earlier, he was like, everybody's like, you guys are like milking, Gears, Forza, and Halo, and then the next year they don't have it, and it's like Xbox done. Like he's like, you can't win,
But then he also came out though, and he said, "But that's what pushes me to make sure there is something." And he did talk about Crackdown.
He kept reiterating
3
that he's
and-
really happy about the lineup this year. So
oh
Exactly.
yeah, he
and
said that like 3 times.
Which Crap makes a great point. It takes about 3 years to create a a good game, and it's been that time. So could there be something
that
that
he greenlighted when he first took over?
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe. You never know.
Well, look at this, right? Like, okay, I'm playing through Horizon Zero Dawn, and that's a good game. Obviously I have some issues with it, but it's polished. I will say that. Now, had Recore had that amount of dev time and a different engine, imagine how polished that could have been. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, definitely.
I'm
You
just
have to
saying, we have Shadow of War. Like, this is a perfect example. Nobody knew about this game, and it's coming out this year.
Yeah.
It's another Fallout 4. Like, so could there actually be games that we don't know that are actually going to release in the fall with Scorpio? Like, there is that possibility.
That's a good point. He actually talked about that too, and he was like, it's really hard for like games like Sea of Thieves and stuff where it's more of a service-based thing. You have to test out stuff and all that kind of stuff. And I thought that was really cool. He was super candid about what's going on with Xbox and the industry as a whole.
like I know they've said it's not free to play, but when you hear the name service, that almost kind of speaks of a free to play to me.
No,
I don't know.
I don't see it being free to play.
You don't think so?
I don't know, man.
I
really
still
know.
don't think it's going to be free to play. I think it's still going to be like where you buy 60, like it's going to be probably like a $60 game, and then where there will be like the loot kind of stuff that you can buy, for instance, like how
I hope they do more just like Halo 5 came out. Like you paid $60, you got a lot of free content. You also had paid content.
yes.
Like I just hope they do
exactly. That's what I was trying to, I
Yeah.
guess, more or less.
Arr,
cover.
arr.
Like
I
even
thought it was more of a comparison to Minecraft and how like Minecraft in a way is a service. You buy the game up
True.
front, but then they continue to come out with
Pump out
more
stuff.
and more content as time comes
That's
on.
what
Like,
I'm talking about, Magic. My good catch there. That's good
that's
analogy.
like
I like that.
MMOs. Like for instance, look at Guild Wars. Guild Wars 2 was a game that came out at full price, but you get like nonstop content throughout the time because they're constantly upgrading and they're constantly adding.
And Sea of
things.
Thieves is one of those games that has to have constant content. to
It
keep people,
does, but it's no matter what people want to look at this game, it is an MMO style game. Even though they don't want to give it that official title, it is still an MMO style game.
Shared
And-
world. They say.
yeah.
And so I'm not going to actually talk about Sea of Thieves, obviously, but the style of game that it is, it could still sell for a $60 game,
Yeah.
releasing at that, and still, constantly updating and giving people what they want with the service that they want. So
200 people watching the show. That is the highest we've ever been on the console corner. Thank you so much, guys. Where's those likes at? Come on, we only got 98. Let's go. Hit that like button.
Yeah, hit that like button. But yeah, SheWulf, what I'm saying is, they've actually said they've never said it was free to play. When he said service, I don't know, but Magic Mike did make a good
Yeah, he
point
made a
that
good point.
even Minecraft could be considered a service type game. And yeah, you're
Brought
going to
up
be able to
Minecraft a lot during that discussion too.
yeah, you're going to be able to buy stuff in the game most likely. You know what I mean? And again, like we're not really allowed to talk about it other than saying I'm in the alpha or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm very interested to hear more about this game as it goes along, and hopefully hopefully it gets released this year because still like one of my most anticipated games. Like absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
I'm sure
All
there's
they
going to be
gotta do is
microtransactions. Like
all they gotta do with Sea of Thieves is make stuff like customizable sales where you could put your own logos.
Oh,
and
I'm
shit.
sure that's a thing, bro.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That'd be dope. Kids would be all over that stuff, and maybe
Crap gamer pissing on a PS4 is going to be
On a sale, that'd be awesome. Bro. A
That's
flag.
that'd be interesting.
that's going to be it.
Oh man.
That would be the best flag.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
hell yeah, I'm on console corner gamer nerd. Don't you forget it, man.
He's
bringing
on
the
board.
bringing the crapaholics there. They're like, yes, we're here. We're watching Crap Gamer.
Wow.
Nice.
Hooray!
I'm kind of towards the end of the big points I wanted to talk about, but I want to open it up to all you guys. Do you have anything that you really wanted to talk about that maybe we missed or anything during that interview?
Let's see.
I really like that he pointed out the announcing games early and how that affects things as they progress.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that he pointed that out when they were talking about Scalebound and stuff like that,
Yeah.
or even Crackdown, because it hypes us, like it gets us excited, and the next thing you know, there's nothing. Like I think he even talked about Cuphead and how it died down, and now we're still waiting for that. So
Yeah, like the fatigue
That
of
was
it.
funny what he said about Cuphead. They're like, "Oh, can you give us a release date?" And then he's like, "Wait, I know you can't give us a release date, but can you tell us how it is?" And he's like,
It's fantastic.
"It's fantastic, and it's coming sometime soon." Like, it's,
That was pretty cool.
That is part of a problem though.
they
Like
gave
that
him
game.
a date for a date.
Yeah,
That's what he
that
said.
game is one that
Yeah.
the hype has died down a little bit on that specifically because they announced it kind of early or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they
a
pretty much
couple-
reworked the whole thing too.
Yeah, a couple of things that I wanted to point out, which was he said that Halo 5 engagement has gone up,
Absolutely.
actually, since and that's good.
Yeah.
A lot of people say that Halo is dead or declining, and the fact that it's gone up it proves that they're onto something with the multiplayer. And also mentioned that people want to play as Master Chief, so
Yeah.
obviously
we all knew that.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
someone got hate for being a lock liker, so they're like,
Yeah.
they're pretty much just like, get out of here. No.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, Luke Cage, go steal the show in your own shit.
yeah. Well, look, here's the thing. They hyped up the lock versus Chief angle. It turned out to be a swerve. Like there was really nothing there, but so they're going to pay attention. And look, everything that have you guys noticed? And I say this again, every time somebody like people complain in mass, the true fans they fix it. People really complained about
Yes,
the lack of
agree.
split screen. They fix it. People
Yep.
didn't want to play as other people. It sounds like you're going to be Chief in the next. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, no matter what the issue is, they do it. If
Yeah.
people want to play, you have options. Like, how can you complain about backwards compatibility? How can you complain about Game Pass? Because they're just options. You don't have to get them,
Right.
but they're there. They don't hurt you one way or the other. So yeah, I just think that it's cool that they're reiterating that Halo is still a monster.
Yep.
Which we already knew. Us Xbox fans knew that.
Absolutely.
Like if you play that
I mean,
game,
it's just like Sony fans, like Uncharted and all that kind of stuff is like their monsters over there, like Halo,
Yeah.
Gears, and all that stuff. That's our monsters. It's cool.
yeah, exactly.
People are complaining there's a lack of kids in Xbox games now, so maybe they should put the Master Chief and do like that Fall of Reach movie where he goes back and does a couple of levels where he's like the kid and how he evolves into the person that he is and the hero that he is
I would
today.
play a total prequel game. Absolutely, I would play that.
He even joked around about that Mega Bloks Halo game.
Oh
one
yeah,
day.
he mentioned that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he was like, yeah, that's one of those things that happens or whatever. So I like how candid he is. And, I thought that he answered a lot of stuff and kind of left you hanging with some stuff. But
For
yeah,
a good
just-
reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, he gets people talking. Like everybody obviously is going to be talking right now. And this is a perfect time to do that because, like the competition is having launches or whatever. You got the Zelda getting like unbelievable scores. It is kind
Yeah,
of
of
sad to
course.
look over and notice that like Xbox games will never get those scores just because,
Oh,
but
that's
yeah.
sad. I'm depressed now. Thanks.
But yeah, like all in all, I thought it was a really good, really, really good interview.
No, it was awesome. Obviously,
Yeah.
we know within our own community, the Xbox community, we're totally hyped for it. We can't wait to see what happens, whether we see something about Scorpio before E3 or whatever the case may be. We're all happy, but I don't know if you guys noticed, I scrolled down to the comment section, It's a rare thing, but sometimes I do it. And there's a lot of people on there that weren't Xbox fans. They were like, they play PC, they play PlayStation, and they really liked Phil, and they liked what he said, and they think that, they're happy for the Xbox fans that are going to get all these things, and they're looking forward to E3. And I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
where all this happy kumbaya came from?
All,
Wow.
all eyes on Microsoft. Even whether you like Xbox or hate it, obviously all eyes are going to be on them. At
Yeah, but
E3.
not only that, they have mad respect for Phil, definitely.
Yeah, well, Phil's a good guy, and I also, hey, to you guys on Twitter that had you change your tags or got rid of the Scorpio symbol, and now I notice they're back. Yeah.
What's up? Why so serious? How you doing, bro? You wanted to shout out, so there you go, bro.
Serious troll. I see you.
It's kind of
Yeah,
funny. It's kind
He
of
called
funny.
me crap gamer earlier.
Yeah, he's a troll.
That Phil shows up on this show now because, I mean, it doesn't take a genius to see that over the past probably 3 weeks in particular, that social media has been a very negative place for especially an Xbox fan, because there hasn't been a lot of, well, it hasn't been bad news. It's just been kind of dominated now with a lot of these games coming out for the PlayStation 4 that are getting these stupid, crazy reviews, and it's just kind of overshadowing the Xbox scene. And Phil comes on here right now, right in the heat of things, and just kind of saying, "Hey guys, don't forget, we got a big E3 coming up here, and it's gonna blow your socks off." You know what I mean?
It's gonna rock your socks.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's gonna be a lot
Hey, I
of good
heard
stuff to see through.
Cuphead. I heard the Cuphead's taking so long, they're thinking about renaming it to Bullhead.
Aw.
No chills,
What
dude.
happened? What happened there?
That one didn't work.
Nice. I think that's about it, guys.
I'm looking forward to it, especially if they're starting it off with a bang. I can't wait. Something weird. I'll mention it on the side because what was up with that whole handheld thing? Anybody? I was like, what?
Yeah, they did talk about that. I was like,
He said he's
I'm watching
this
it, but
debate.
Yeah, he's like, I'll keep my eye on it.
It's a big thing, like the whole handheld. But
I think it's just with
great,
the Switch thing right now.
But it's
Yeah.
great how he came out. And I said this to GKB as soon as he announced that. Like, as soon as they started talking about it, I'm like, he should team up with Samsung. And
Yeah,
he should just create the best cell phone Windows 10.
I don't know. I
friggin'
don't think
that's
people
anywhere.
would trust Microsoft with phones anymore.
Yeah.
No,
Just
that's
hey,
why.
hey,
No,
hey,
that's why
hey,
Samsung.
hey.
No
Hold
offense,
on.
Crappy.
Hey.
But that's why they team up with Samsung. If Samsung takes the lead, they have amazing phones like the Note and everything else like that. If they actually take the lead,
That's on who you talk to, like
but
blowing up in your face. That kind of thing, so.
we're not talking about iPhone people. iPhone people
I mean, I
don't
know-
count.
I know what you mean. I mean, hopefully,
No, I get
if
what
it's something new with Samsung, because Samsung has worked with them before with Windows, and it never worked out because
Well, it
it
doesn't
had.
have to be Windows
My
10
thing is,
exactly,
like,
but they have like apps and stuff.
They're doing a really
Yeah,
good
yeah, yeah.
job. They're pushing the hardware. They're doing the games. I don't want them to lose any focus off that by doing some other little side
Exactly.
project right now.
Right. I like that he did point out that that's more for phones, and
Yeah,
what
TVs
Nintendo's
and-
doing is something amazing and new.
Yeah.
But he's just gonna keep an eye on it. I like that he pointed that out at least.
Well, he
Absolutely.
also knows, like, because of other consoles that have tried to do handhelds, they don't work. They're not as successful
As the DS.
other than Nintendo, and because cell phones are constantly improving and they're constantly
pretty
changing
strong.
every single year, there's
powerful.
no point in really competing with
Well,
a cell phone.
Vita should have been a success in every sense of the word. It was a fantastic piece of hardware. It's
I
just
agree.
that Sony pulled off. I don't know what Sony was thinking. Like, guys, they didn't even when it launched. They didn't even push it. It was. I don't know, man. It makes me so angry because they had the perfect little console on the go, and they had all the right stuff going with it. You know how you could hook it up to your PlayStation 3 and all of this stuff, and then they just dropped the whole ball on that thing. Like it makes me so angry because they could have had a potential killer portable on their hands, and they just
could've.
backed out on it way too soon. All they needed was to stick with it another year and bring out some games that would have been it was almost like when they saw that Call of Duty game flop on the Vita. It was kind of like, oh, we're throwing in the towel because this didn't do well. Well, the install base was next to nothing at the time.
Yeah, I agree. For me, I just like what Microsoft is doing. Like, we haven't had any news, and then all of a sudden they throw out Shadow of War, and then they have
this whole
like,
week.
interview and all that kind of stuff, just getting the hype back over onto them, get everybody talking about it. I think their messaging is so on point right now, and I just love what they're doing and where they're going. So on that note, we're going to go ahead and get out of here because we don't want to step on Four Guys too much. We love those guys. Everybody watching, if you could, like right after this show, go over and give a like over there at Four Guys. We'd really appreciate it. And on that, I'm gonna go ahead and let everybody sign. Go ahead and say their things for getting out of here and all that kind of stuff. There's something I wanted to say, but I forgot about. Anyway, thanks for coming on, Crap. Really appreciate it.
Hit that like button.
Hey,
That's what you were gonna say.
Yeah, hit that like button. Yeah, that's the way you got to do it. Yeah. So Crap Gamer Reviews. Check it out. I think probably a video is about to drop at some point because there's usually but one always about to drop. So
Really? Really? That's gonna be 3 today? Really?
yeah. Oh, there. Yeah. I mean, that's how it goes, man. I got. Yeah. They're just scheduled. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Like I'm not in control of it anymore.
I like how he says, "I don't know." It just happens.
It's its own thing. It's its own.
Yeah.
It's what happens when you
It's
stop
firmly
eating
in control
Starburst.
of me. Yes. No Starburst for a while. I'm actually doing much better on that. Like my head's not as foggy or anything, but yeah. So yeah, go check that stuff out. Thank you guys for inviting me on. It was really cool, even though you guys are probably mad because I like took a couple shots at stuff. But anyway, that's what I do, and cool, I'm crazy. You never know what I'm gonna say.
He's taking shots. He's over there drinking. What?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's a good night.
Oh, I know what I want to say.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
We're going to the midnight release of the Switch tonight, guys. We're going to have a live unboxing tomorrow. We're going to do it right in front of the camera,
can't wait.
live, everything.
I knew that's what it was. I was going to
forgot
say it
about
when you said my name. I knew it. I was like, oh, he forgot, so I'm just going to say it.
Yeah.
But no.
So we're going to do an unboxings, impressions, all that, and answer your guys' questions, and we'll open it up right
so
here.
So join us tomorrow, right here.
Oh, the live event.
Yeah, it's going to be live, so watch
Nice.
us tomorrow.
What you got going on, Fox? I know you're pretty busy today.
Oh yeah, doing stuff for the house and the family and whatnot and bills. Anyway, but besides that crap, I did a little throwback Thursday video. It's fun. So go over there and check it out. If not, check out my Twitter. I posted all the Foxy deals that we mentioned on Tuesday, and you guys could chat with me over there as well. But yeah, besides that, I'll see you guys on Ladies' Night on Monday.
Yep. Ooh, what? What about you, Mike? What you got going on, man?
I got just a lot of work going on right now. Work's been pretty crazy, but you can always find me on Twitter at MagicMike511 with K's, Magic with a K. I'll be on Console Corner on Tuesday, and you can feel free to check out my YouTube channel. I haven't uploaded a video in a little while, but I promise I'll be getting on that soon as things calm down.
Nice.
Mike's Minutes. It's
That's
like
right.
10 minutes.
The longest one was 6.
Oh, sorry.
What about you, Newf? What you got going on, bro?
Well, I just wanted to say, guys, thanks for hanging out with us tonight on the special edition of the Console Corner. Make sure that you follow each and every one of these amazing gamers and podcasters with the links down below. And again, thanks to Crap for joining us tonight. And make sure that the next time you're having your last lick of mayo, you think of Crap and Fox.
Oh yeah.
Excuse you. I didn't approve that. No, no, thank
It
you.
wasn't approved.
Talk to my manager, SheWulf. Get on that.
Speaking of SheWulf, what you got going on, SheWulf?
I don't know. Usually that's my outro, and he just kind of. I usually do the.
Newf gotcha.
Yeah. I usually do the thing, but okay.
Thanks, Frodo. That's our Discord. Make sure you go ahead and check that out.
I was gonna say okay.
I took that
Apparently,
too.
I don't have
Oh,
an outro
my
because
God.
Oh, we took 'em all.
everybody just takes
Yeah.
what I say. So I guess I'll just only say me. Find me on Twitter and Xbox at xSHEWULFx. That's
Cool.
about it because everybody takes.
You got Ladies' Night on Monday.
With
Fox
a U,
already
not
said
a
it.
O.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
helping. I'm helping.
Fox already said it. Noob already gave mine.
She
And then
gets
you
so
just
salty
mentioned
about the
it.
outros.
Because I don't have nothing to say. Crap does that to me too. Everybody
Oh,
does.
crap.
Apparently,
She hates us all.
Just for the person in the chat, no, I do not want to punch Crap in the face. I don't know like, why people assume that, but
That's awesome.
She looked angry. That's why.
apparently I'm always making faces. So
That's pretty funny. I
Why
like it.
don't you introduce Community Game Night then?
because I don't know what it's going to be, and we are.
Damn, why you gotta put her on the spot? Damn,
Yeah.
dude.
We got, like, some stuff going on. We don't know if we're gonna-
So that was
okay.
already announced last night on Xbox Nation. So
Yeah.
Yeah, Xbox Nation.
Woo!
Nomination.
So, I'm
Hell
GKB, the governor. We really appreciate over 200 people watching the show today. That's really awesome. Thank you so much, guys. We love the community. See us everywhere on Twitter, YouTube's Gamer Knows Best. Be on the Shop Podcast on Saturday. Tomorrow, live unboxing. Then we're going to be streaming some Zelda so you can see it. If it actually deserves all those high praise and scores, I will tell you the
unless
truth.
Nintendo takes it down.
Well, I'm going to be on Beam, so they ain't taking shit
oh, yeah.
down.
Well, Beam, yeah.
So, yeah, we love you guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Later.
Bye.
Later.
Good evening.